and I want to just make sure I keep the tradition going, having that media day. So yes, all high schools, 16 high schools in the county will come out, and you guys get to interview them, and get everybody at one time, and get some great content for your podcast or your social media pages, and the kids love it. I mean, it's great for the kids. It gives them exposure. It puts a light on basketball, boys and girls.
Yes, sir.
Across the Cobb County.
So real quick, question for Coach Moultrie and Bryson. Bryson, I seen you smile about the media day a little bit, man. So what do you enjoy most kind of about it? I see you smiling now.
Media day for me is like you get to be with all your rival, well, not rivals, but like your peers. You get to mess around with them and all that, and then learning how to be interviewed which is a big part about basketball and stuff.
For sure, Coach. Back to you real quick, around my coach. What to you, Coach, you feel like makes Cobb County one of those top tiers in basketball? I'm still learning. I've obviously seen Gwinnett, but what do you feel like makes Cobb County different from maybe other counties across the state?
I mean, you want to go back to Ryan Harrow, to your Sharif Abdul-Rahim, to your Jalen Browns, to your Colin Sextons, to your Sharif Coopers, your Trey Goldens. I mean, I'm probably missing 1,000 other kids, that came through it. But of course, you have, your flagship programs such as Wheeler. As of lately, Kill has dominated in their classification. Pebblebrook is always there. McEachern is always there. Even Walton has come up, and made quite some noise in the playoffs and in the rounds. So inside the county, it's great basketball, and it's great basketball players. Any night in the region, you might not know a name at Campbell, but Campbell basketball is going to be a hard-nosed team. It's not an easy out for you. So just the basketball in the county is just, I think, again, it's high caliber, high quality. Not down in any other county, but I'm just saying that it fluctuates from season to season. Some years Gwinnett might have it, and other years it's Cobb, and then some other years, like I said, the DeKalb schools come in there. But we have some. If you do, pound for pound alumni that comes from Cobb County basketball, there's some heavy names up there.
For sure. All right, guys, I'm bringing on my co-host to ask y'all some questions, man. Appreciate all the answers, man. Great group. Arvon Bacon, the Bacon Network. Appreciate you coming on, brother.
How we doing, fellas?
All right, how you doing, man?
Good. Can't complain, man. Appreciate y'all coming on tonight. I know Naj has done an exceptional job as he does always. Coach, I got to ask you, man. I'm not sure if he's already tapped into it, but I feel like the Hillgrove Eagles, or Hawks, can be the best team in Marietta this year, man. So from all y'all, man, just how you feel about that? Because I know y'all talk about it behind the scenes every day at practice.
Hey, Coach, there's that noise.
Exactly. That's why I smile. We're trying to stay focused. I mean, they're hearing that. But again, the schedule is set up so to prove people that feel like you is either going to prove people right, or it's going to prove the naysayers right as well. So these two guys, and along with the rest of the team, we have to produce. And again, that's pretty much going into the scheduling too. Because again, in order to be a top caliber team, you have to beat other top caliber teams. So let's not run from it. If we're good as we think we are, and most definitely as good as we say we are, or they say we are, then let's find out. Throw it up and let's find out.
Yeah, I like that. Throw it up and let's find out, man. Like you said, not running from any competition. Sandy Creek, Dutchtown, Kennesaw Mountain, Newman, Decatur. You know what I mean? It's a lot of heavy hitters, and like y'all never really shied away from talent, but just walk me through. You know what I mean? Throwing yourself in a fire. November 5th all the way through the end of the season. Walk me through that decision.
Yep. Like I told Najee. So again, Ric Flair, to be the man, you have to beat the man. So let's start. It's a scrimmage game. So one of the best programs out Sandy Creek, of the years, they just retired Jabari, some jersey. So, the excitement is around their basketball still. So, hey, let's go down there and see. Let's go down there and see. Let's get some Fayetteville bump. Let's go down. And what I try to do is, if you look at the schedule, I try to play different regions of the city too, and different talents. So like I said, we'll go from Fayetteville, then we go down to Henry and bump with Dutchtown, and then Decatur. Rory Welch is doing a great job over there at Decatur. So let's go get some of Decatur. Then of course you're going to the city. We go to the Point and play Tri-City, multiple state champions. Pace. It's a smaller classification, but we know their pedigree with Coach White and what they've been doing. Alexander is always in the hunt with those guys, so let's go to Douglas County and play those guys. So that's right there. That is a huge chunk of talented teams before we even see a McKeitry, before we even see a Pebblebrook, before we see a Kemmer. And so we should know early on whether we are pretenders or contenders. We should know.
And then Bacon, he made his schedule. I don't know if you heard this part, so I wanted to inform you. He made his schedule to where, like you said, they can find out about the team, and then it's also played it for next year for when the power rankings come in. So they're gonna probably have a couple out-of-state matchups as well.
Okay. I'm sure he's already touched on that, and I don't want to continue to ask questions that have already been asked, but I do want to ask you this, Coach, before I get to the guys. What I'm saying? As a coach, you're in charge, of keeping this team where they're not peaking at the right moment in time. Like you said, you're playing for February. So I'm saying, what things are you doing kind of keep these guys hungry, locked in, day by day?
When you talk to the guys, you can ask them. What I try to do is I challenge the guys every day. I try to always keep them uncomfortable. I'm going to put them through difficult situations. Even when they try to relax, I'll find something to rile them up to make sure they're not relaxed. You want to, like you said, you don't want to peak early. I say to guys, the season is most definitely a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
We want to play through February. We want to play in March. So again, you got to make sure early in this. So it's probably 4 parts of the season. You got the early on season, then you got your tournaments, and then you got your region play, and then you have your post season, right? So what we want to do, we want to see where we are early. And then that way we can tweak things early, put them in the fire earlier. So if the fire is too hot, then we go back as coaches, we adjust, and then practice, then take a different turn. We can work on that in practice. If we're right where we are, compete, okay, cool. We can work on matchups, lineups, things of that nature. I should say lineups, not matchups. We work on the matchups. We want to make sure which group, this group is my defensive group. This group is going to be, hitting on all cylinders. This is my offensive group. Different schemes, all of that went into the scheduling. And then in practice, like for peaking, some days in practice, I gotta keep my foot on everybody's neck. And some days it'll be more relaxed, more instructional, and between all of those, it'll be ice baths in between, stretching, yoga. And I'm gonna bring a nutritionist back in. We had a nutritionist come in and talk to the guy about eating right, making sure the guy's putting the right thing in the body, so we can have the right fuel for what we're trying to do.
100%. First, for context, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching, I didn't mean to say February. Like I'm trying to cap this thing. It slipped my mind. Second, you know what I mean. If there's no better sales pitch, it was Coach Moultrie just gave. Like they're doing yoga, they stretch, they're doing ice bath, and they got the nutrition down pat. Tight, Coach. So appreciate that, Coach. I'm gonna tap into the guys, man. I noticed Bryce, as Coach was talking about, a lot, tapping into y'all, you was shaking your head like, man, I hate those days of practice. So for Bryson and ASA, man, so just what are y'all doing, how's practice when it gets tough, when Coach is kind of getting into y'all, how is that?
Honestly, you can't let him, you got to listen to what he's saying, not how he's saying it. So if he starts yelling at you, you just got to take what he's saying and not get emotional about it and keep going.
100%, Bryce.
Yeah, basically what he said, Moultrie is he's a naturally loud person. So he gonna yell, he gonna do all that. You just gotta get used to it, take it, and then handle your business.
100%. I want to ask y'all too, man. I haven't been watching, basketball, IG, basketball, Twitter real close. It's still a football season, so I'm still in that mode, but I'm slowly easing into it. But how is there any, buzz back and forth on social media, and how are y'all handling it?
For me, Instagram and all that stuff, I don't pay too much attention to it. Like every once in a while I'll be on it, but mostly I'm not on it as much.
Yeah, I feel like you can't let that stuff boost your head up. You always gotta stay humble and keep working.
I hear Coach Moultrie in the answers, but for both of y'all, man, you just got offered by Georgia Tech. Want to tap into that too. Coach Damon started building something big, man. So just how is it seeing, how is it seeing Tech, rise and possibility of y'all playing together at Tech or just abroad,
it would be great for us to stay together, stay together through college, build through college. And, Georgia Tech, they breed guards. First, Damian Stoudemire was an NBA guard. Learning from him would be perfect for me.
Yeah, I feel like it would be great. We got some of the same offers. It would be cool if we played because the chemistry's already there. So just to keep it going would be cool.
And just talk about y'all chemistry as well. I haven't seen y'all on the court. I've seen y'all film, right? You know what I'm saying? OTR, you know what I mean? And on the circuit, but this, you know what I'm saying? How is y'all chemistry on the court? And is it LeBron D. Wade? You know what I mean? Is it Kawhi? You know what I mean? Tony Parker, you know what I'm saying? What's the style like?
Your Bryson face.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. So for me, I'll probably go Bron D. Wade. Asa catching lobs, doing all that. I'm gonna come down. I'm getting to the basket regardless. You're not gonna stop me doing that. And both of us can play defense. So yeah, I like the LeBron D. Wade comparison.
Okay.
I agree with Bryson. He throws lobs. I'm going to catch it. So, yeah, I just agree with him.
Okay, LeBron D. Wade, special cooking up in at Hillgrove. I like the sound of that, man. But before I ask about who some other teammates who we should know about, man, I gotta ask about the one-on-one battles that y'all two. I'm assuming have on a regular or every afternoon. Who was, who catching the L's more so than not?
So let me say this. We both got each other equal amount of times. Like he's dunked on me a couple times. I've caught him a couple times. But it's always great battles going to get each other, especially during practice.
There's no shame in getting out of the way, brother.
It's always competitive. We 1v1. I'm always winning though. But yeah.
I beat him the other day. I promise you, I beat him the other day.
Shake his head. 100%, man. I appreciate the insight on that, fellas. That's gonna go crazy. But just talk about some other teammates because outside of y'all are very talented as well.
I feel like Landon Grundy, he's a great ball handler, great mid-range shooter. He'll get it to his teammates, and I feel like he's a key part in our team this year. Khalil, point guard, he came from South Cobb. He distributes the ball. He plays great defense. He's athletic. Mike Stringer, shooter. Just like what Coach Moultrie said before, really everybody is good, and I think we have a good team this year.
Yeah, for me, I'll probably go. So this is a sleeper. Jalen Whitehead, probably the best defensive guard I've ever seen in my life. He might get a little antsy every once in a while, but other than that, he's gonna play great defense. And, we got JJ or Jaden Johnson, as y'all call him. He's starting to become a true point guard. He's not always just trying to press himself to score. And then, like Asa said, probably Landon. Landon's probably another big keystone to this thing.
100%. Last question before I go back to Coach Moultrie for a couple more before I throw it back to my co-host Najee. Just talk about the process, fellas. Obviously, y'all are on an ESPN list where everybody's trying to get to and think about it when they first get that ball in their hand. They're thinking about you first get that name on that list. It's what you're working and trying to get to. So just talk about it's a process of getting to that point from 0 to where you are now.
Yeah, when I was coming up, I was never really ranked, never high on rankings or nothing. So you just got to get in the gym every day, keep working, never go like this. You always got to keep going up. But when I did get put on the list, it felt really good. Injuries happen. I dropped a little bit, but it don't matter. I'm back now. And yeah, we just got to continue to keep going up.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of the same thing. Wasn't really ranked coming through middle school and stuff. Went to a couple camps, got a little bit of exposure. Then all got put on ESPN. Still ain't got my stars yet. They coming soon. Church. They coming soon. But, I just use it as extra motivation every morning, working hard and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Appreciate that, fellas. And last thing, Coach, I'm going to ask you, it's we talked to Coach Gibbons. We talked to Grace's head coach last week. We didn't get to dive into that topic, but I want to ask you: do you see a lot of kids going from Georgia to prep ball? You know what I mean? And you got prolific players, not just these two, but the rest of the squad. So just what are your thoughts on that, and how are you trying to prevent the takeover of prep teams getting into our candy jar?
Until the guys that are running Georgia High School Association understand the limitations that they're putting on our kids. It's a mass exodus from Georgia High School to the top talent. Of course, they're going to go up to guys like that with top talent. I mean, if somebody offers a 17-year-old kid his senior year $100,000, $200,000, is kind of hard for that kid to say no.
Right.
But I think if Georgia high school opened up the NIL inside the association, let high school kids make a little bit of money, because it's really about the money. Loyalty can be bought, right?
Absolutely.
So you would hope the kids stay with you and finish out and the high school, but again, it's more so on now poaching kids is different, but prolific prep and OT, those guys, they offer something that all kids want. They want the NIL, they want the constant media presence, social media presence. So I think when I say we, I'm saying Georgia high school, they have to just do a better job of coming up with rules and that are more friendly to the student athlete, and not just a knee-jerk reaction, because honestly, everybody talks about the transfer portal for football and basketball, right, in Georgia high school. But what you guys or some guys don't know, kids transfer for band, one-act play, tweet that out. So it's not, kids move for all reasons. It doesn't, I mean, if you really want to be an actor and Pebblebrook is the best place that they're going to get you, with Lil Yachty and the rest of them, it make you, so I'm going to go over there, but nobody's tweeting, hey, Bacon transferred to Pebblebrook to be an actor, So it's twofold. Leadership just has to do a better job about the current rules that they have, to put in place so kids can stay in Georgia high school. Because again, a lot of people coming over here, like I said, we're developing talent, and then boom, they go to the prep school, and the prep schools get fat off somebody else's cow or somebody else's pig, So that's the flip side to it. Not knocking, anybody that did it. I will hope these two guys stay with me for all 4 years, and we turn this thing around. I'm really looking forward to both of them being over 1,000-point scores and rebounding and just, retiring their jerseys here. I think we're right in the cusp. We're about to. I give a analogy about popcorn all the time, and I think we're about to pop, right? So everybody on this podcast has eaten popcorn before, whether it's at the movies, whether it's microwave, if you're old enough to do Jiffy Pop. One thing for that popcorn to happen, though, we had to go through some heat, right? You had to go through the heat for the popcorn, for that kernel to pop. But no matter which Jiffy Pop, microwave popcorn, or movie popcorn, no matter where you're eating it, all the kernels don't pop. Even though they went through the same heat, all of them don't pop. Some of them pop nice and fluffy, some of them halfway pop, and some of them get burnt. So what I'm saying by that, some of the kids, they just have to enjoy the process, trust the process, and go. You might pop, Asa might pop before Bryson. Bryson, when it's his time, he's gonna pop. Some kids might get burnt out and don't want to play basketball, but when it's your time, you will pop. So I think Georgia high school is not doing a good job. I say all that to say that I don't think they're doing a good job to allowing kids to pop, because those kids at prep school could very well pop for Georgia high school schools here in the state and don't have to go out of the state to do it.
Have you heard of any talks about them putting the games on TV, WSB, anything like that?
See, your man earlier Nigel was talking about pouring salt in the room about the Newton loss last year, but that pours more salt in the room to me than the Newton loss, because every Friday you can find 2 high school football games
easily
on TV every Friday, But hey, the same amount of football games on Friday night are the exact same amount of basketball games being played the next months on Friday night. We're not saying you have to cover all, but find you one game, just like you travel for football, and go cover that basketball game. Give the state, give the basketball side. You don't have to stay in the metro area. You can go to Columbus, Middle Georgia. You can go to Augusta, Georgia. You can go to Savannah. You can go to South Georgia, or you can pick a game in the weekend in the metro area to cover one high school basketball game. So we're in a week, right? You have all scrimmages popping off, all showcases starting off, tip-off showcases. Is the Corky Kill not a tip-off showcase?
No, it's not.
The Corky Kill is a kickoff for football, right? So let's have a kickoff a tip off for basketball. Just give my sport a little love, man. And it can be done. We went from being championships game being broadcast on TV to you had to log into the web to watch them. Why? Why? When it's some of the best basketball in the nation. So things like that have to be done. So then that goes back to your question about, well, kids leaving to go to prep schools. Well, it starts from the top down. We have to do a better job of covering these kids in the state, the entire state.
Go ahead, Nash.
Yeah, so I mean, Coach, that was gonna be one of our questions for you for sure. So I mean, I know you know about it, all the lotto picks that have come through the state, all the great talent, some of the guys down below. So you obviously mentioned about just doing it once a week. So besides maybe TV component of it, what do you feel like other media members maybe can do to help elevate the sport and maybe shine more light on it for obviously all these great athletes?
Yeah, I think we probably should send out like a master schedule, right? And you guys cover games, follow players. You can follow ASA and Bryson one game, and then next week you can follow somebody, at Grayson. You can follow somebody at Newton. You guys have a lot of people. You have a lot of viewers. Social media is the new outlet. So, things go viral and that nature, and that's how kids' names get out. And then you can, it helps your podcast and help your followers go up. But we just got to do some kind of way. The basketball community has to do a better job to support our sport, basketball. I think a lot of times we get caught up, trainer versus high school coach versus AAU coach, and the trainer is saying one thing, the AAU coach is saying one thing, and the high school coach is saying another thing. But in the grand scheme, we all should really sit down and see what's best for that kid, that kid in the program. If he's going to, well, coach, he might do that for you AAU wise. But for us high school, we need him to do this for this high school team to be successful. So you go with the trainer, hey, man, let's not work on I need him to be, a point guard, right? So I need him to court vision, understand reads. So let's work on that as a trainer versus, your step back three, so to speak, So we just got to make sure if that's going to take that kid and make that kid a better player, make him, get him to the next level. Let's just all work together on that same path for the kid,
For sure.
And that'll help elevate the basketball culture too in itself. Everybody's pretty much is working kind of clockwise. They're working against each other instead of working for each other to help each other. This is my little 10 cents.
Okay. Now I'll throw it to the players. What do you guys thought? So just how the media coverage is, when people are getting you guys out there, we see it doesn't take much as Coach Moultrie alluded to, just in terms of getting you guys on the map with social media being kind of that avenue. So how do you guys feel like the coverage is for you guys in the high school in the state of Georgia?
For me, I feel like it's pretty good. Like posts, they be getting thousands of views. So I feel like a lot of people see them, and it gets my name out there.
Yeah, kind of like how he said, especially if you're like a top player in your little area, there will be media coverage all day. You can get Instagram reel stuff all day, and like you said, 1,000 likes, multiple 100K views sometimes, depending on how viral it goes. And so yeah, it's a good media outlet.
For sure. Coach, obviously you talked about, going back to your point about kind of working against each other. Do you feel like AAU is a platform that's helping these players? Like when they get to you, like what is your thoughts on that platform as a whole? Or do you feel like it's not helping basketball?
No, I'm not gonna say that AAU is not helping. No, I'm not gonna do that. AAU is needed. I'm not one of those high school guys. I tease my guys all the time about AAU, but I'm not a guy that's gonna bash AAU basketball. What I mess with my guys about in AAU, I was like, man, are you defending though? Are you just trying to get your 30 ball? You know what I mean?
Okay.
So if everybody out trying to get a 30 ball, then the game's gonna look kind of, come on, man. So just if you play AAU, just like I would require you to play defense for me, play some defense for AAU. Be a good teammate, AAU. But AAU is needed because it also gives kids exposure. I think that's again. The state right south of us in Florida, their high school coach can go right out of the high school season, right in the travel ball season with his same team.
Yep.
If I would have had these guys, and again, there's no disrespect to any of their AAU teams or any other AAU teams out there, but can you imagine guys playing this team playing together for a year together, and them gelling and them just becoming the chemistry that they would have? That would be really, really dangerous. I mean, you can see what we did in just a couple of weeks together, right? So imagine them playing a whole high school season together, and then going right to the circuit together, right back in the high school season. So you talking a year straight playing together in a system. But anyway, no, AAU is needed. You just have to make sure you get on the right program that that showcase your skills, and get on the right team that allow you to demonstrate what you can do in inside those AAU showcases and AAU tournaments they have.
There you go. Got a comment, coach. Somebody said, "What's up?" All right, man. I'll throw it back to the players real quick. So we talk about obviously what you guys want to accomplish this year, and you guys talk about highlight some of the underrated players. Who are some guys you guys like to watch? Who do you guys like to watch? Who guys aspire? I won't say to be, but you take different pieces of their game, or you feel like you play similar to them.
Honestly, I like watching Kevin Durant and Paul George. They're pretty tall. They play smooth. They make shots. They do everything. So players like that, I like to watch.
Yeah, for me, probably like around like Russell Westbrook, maybe VJ, he just got here, but still we both are like aggressive guards that like to go downhill and so stuff like that.
For you, Bryson, what was your thoughts on his game last night?
Oh man. He's bringing back like what's the word? He's bringing back energy that the NBA didn't have. Like he's playing hard. Like he said, he lived off a generator. This is his one way out. Like he's playing overly hard, and that's what the NBA needs.
Okay, let me ask both questions for the fellas. So obviously, great point you brought up just now, Bryson. You said you felt like you brought the energy. What do you feel like maybe the NBA game is missing a little bit? Do you feel like it's a different game than it was a few years ago? I know Coach Moultrie can attest to that, but what do you feel like the game may be missing a little bit more that you guys kind of like grew up watching? It's like, yo, NBA is dope. It has this.
I feel like the mid-range game is like almost completely gone. Like the MVP, Finals MVP, he lived in the mid-range. That's how he won. And I feel like they try and take that away and just make you shoot threes or get to the basket.
Yeah, for me, I think now you can't really touch people no more. You touch someone, it's a foul. You bump someone and you getting a foul called. People are, foul baiting, I guess is the word for it. I don't really like it as much, but I can see the game has evolved. You got people 7'6" shooting 3-pointers, getting reverse dunks and junk. So, I mean, there's not really much you can do about it.
I want to go back to ASA. So you brought up a great point, like this, the mid-range game. So a few nights ago, I'm sure you've seen the game, or you heard about it, but Wemby was hitting like mid-ranges, and that's a dominant part of his game. I see.
Yeah.
But like when you see that, and you see, like you said last year, with Shea doing what he was doing in the mid-range, do you feel like we could see maybe it come back, especially with, like I said, Wemby probably going to be on that pace for that MVP award this year, especially with his performances like he did the other night?
Yeah, I feel like the mid-range is steadily coming back, but like teams average like 60, 73s a game.
It's a lot.
And like, yeah, so I feel like it's coming back.
Okay. Coach, for you, kind of an overall and an NBA question. What is your thoughts on the game where it is now, and your overall thoughts on how much the game has changed, maybe on the high school or collegiate level, compared to maybe when you first started or you first getting into coaching?
Yeah, I think the guys now try to implement what they see in the NBA. So, like Asa just said, the 60 and 73s, that's crazy for a high school kid to do, right? So, I always try to preach that, hey, pay attention more to your next level. So, meaning if you're a high school guy, you need to be watching college ball, right? Because that's your next level, excluding guys that are freaks that's going straight from high school to the pros, right? But if you're a high school guy, let's watch what they do in college, right? Watch how tight they come off the screen. Watch how, in college they're shooting threes and they're shooting mid-range. Get to your spot. I'm glad SGA is living off the mid-range, because now the kids can see it can be done, and it's easy money. That's his layup. When he knows how to get to that spot, and he's gonna pull up at that elbow, and might as well put it in the book. It's two. Now you have Wembley doing it, so it's cool. What you had Curry, that old argument. Curry is ruining basketball, but see what the kids didn't see though. They didn't see the work Steph was putting in behind his shot. They just want to get out there and hoist it up. But the guy put in work to shoot like that, So of course they watch the league and they want to implement what they see in the league, with the step backs, whatever. But just one thing I liked about Kobe, you know, rest in peace, is you got to master the fundamentals. You got to master the board. You know, Kobe was outstanding with the fundamental game. You know, so it's to see the game when we played the game. You know, you can see the grade, but don't let the grade fool you. But you know, it was no such thing as a two-way player. Hell, you had to play two ways. What are you talking about?
It wasn't a thing.
Yeah, you're not getting the ball if you didn't play defense. Yeah, you had to play both ways. You had to play offense and defense. The court goes both ways. So, but now that's the thing. Oh, he's a two-way player. He's supposed to be.
Right.
You know, what are we talking about? But they're okay. You know, I'm a scorer. So that's how the game has changed. You know, it's finesse now. You know, it's a little finesse. It's not as tough as it used to be. You know, but again, it's growth. You know, I'm not going to knock it. As a coach, you have to adjust. You have to adjust, but you got to understand that sometimes you see guys, they shoot threes a lot and they're not going in. They continue to shoot them, and then the body, it just changed. But hey, you know, if you go get you a layup or get
Go
five,
to the free throw line.
go to the free throw line. Now you can get yourself going instead of you just chunking.
Right.
So it's all about just try to teach IQ, you know, of the game, how to score, just help them out, make it easier, and just understand that you just don't have to settle for a jump shot. A lot of times kids that have a wide open layup and they standing behind the 3-point line calling for the ball. All you got to do is cut and get the layup. So, you know, it's just understand and just try to teach you hey, it's okay to take that mid-range too, man. It's okay.
100%. Coach, since you were talking about two-way players, who was the best two-way player on Hillgrove?
Two-way too.
I got to ask, man.
Two-way. Honestly, both of these guys do a good job at times. Both of these guys do a good job.
Safe answer.
I'm not going to put, you know, one of them. They both do a good job at times. So have us back on at the end of the season.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we're all smiling. And then ask me that question. Then after this, hey, Coach, after the season you guys have, after the schedule you have, which one of these guys is the best two-way player? And I guarantee you I'll put one over the other.
I had to throw you in. Go ahead, Nash.
Real quick, I'm gonna throw it back to you, Bacon. Coach, I want to ask you just real quick about the offensive philosophy. I don't want you to reveal no game plans, but just what is this team like? What do they play like in terms of offense? Are you guys like to get to the rim, outside shooting, like, you know, post play? Like, what's some things you like how to have your offense look like?
I would like to have a little bit more post play, but I think we have guys that attack the rim and guys that can shoot. Of course, everybody needs a big. Everybody's looking for a big. You know, that's a funny comment. That's a kind of a running joke in high school. When you ask a college coach, well, coach, what do you need? What you looking for? A big. You know, everybody. But it's kind of, hey, you got Wembley out there shooting mid range. So, but I think we have guys that can score at the rim. We have guys that are going to put constant pressure on you by attacking the rim. We have guys that can make the jump shot. We have guys that can make. You know, we got 3-level scorers. So we have guys that shoot threes too. So it's easy, man. The game plan is to get the ball to the guys that can fill it up and in the spots where they can be successful. And if you want to double Bryson, okay, cool. Let ASA get off. If you want to double ASA, cool. Let Bryson get off. If you want to double both of them, then you got Landon. We have different guys where you just can't key on. So we have to do a philosophy offensively this year where everybody can get off and make it hard for you to defend. We're working a lot on it. We shoot every day. I try to get. Sometimes we just shoot all day because I want guys to be able to knock things down. Because as athletic as we are as a team, I don't think it's going to be many teams that guard us man to man. They're probably going to play zone on us. So we got to be able to make shots. We got to be able to be patient and move and find the best shot and knock it down.
Throw it back to you, Bacon.
I'm saying before we got a comment for you, Coach. I played high school ball with Coach Greg. He knows the game inside out.
Oh, okay. I appreciate whoever. Okay. All right.
100%.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. I had hair then, though, for sure. I had some hair back in high school.
It's all right. I'm about to ask by another one. You know what I mean? I don't want to say slick head partners. You know what I mean? Coach Maxwell. You know what I'm saying?
That's my guy.
He was telling me about, I think, a couple years ago, man. To just how's What did y'all play against each other? You know what I'm saying? Just talk about y'all relationship. We don't want to get it all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so Coach Maxwell, I've been knowing for a while. We met doing the coaching circuit. Some kind of way. I'm a South Georgia boy. Coach Maxwell is from Tuskegee, Alabama. So we kind of two country boys met. Basketball guys. We kind of talk, develop a relationship. And so I've been knowing Coach Maxwell since he coached at Monday's Mill.
Yeah.
Back in the day. And I'm going to drop some names. When he took Monday Mills to the Elite Eight and they lost to Tyree Crump when Tyree Crump played for Bainbridge. So I'm telling my age right now, but I was trying to help Coach Maxwell. Went to the game. I said, hey man, I'm from South Georgia. When Tyree Crump crosses half court, you're going to have to double him. Oh, we got something for him, coach. Don't worry about it, Mo. I said, man, listen, man. Listen, man. He is in range when he crosses half court. So we're at the Elite Eight game at Monday Mill, and Tyree comes across, one dribble past half court, he pulls up. He knocks it down. Coach Maxwell said, oh, he can have that all day. I said, no, coach, don't give him that all day. Nobody's shooting like that from out there. Coach, that is Tyree Crump. He comes back down. He 2 dribbles past half, pull up, knock it down. Boom. In the middle of the game, Coach Maxwell turns around. He looks at me. He say, damn, Moultrie, is he like that? I said, yes. Yes. So he took some time out. So Coach Maxwell, we had battles when he took over East Coweta. I was in the region at South Cobb. So I watched him come up. I watched him take that program and take it, ascend it, help him out, try to give him some nuggets. And we always talk, stay in contact, try to give each other support, help each other out strategically any way we can. And just to see what he did, he has a guy in the league now that came from and played. So young blood went all the way from East Coweta to Kennesaw to South Florida, now to Alabama. Now he's at OKC. So, I'm hoping one of these guys right here do that for me. I can't wait to get a kid in the league. So he's pretty proud about that, and he should be. He should be able to stick his chest out and be proud about that. But, yeah, that's my guy, Coach Maxwell.
100%. I had to ask you about Coach, man. When it's time, if you watch it, Coach, I know you're watching, when it's time to retire young blood jersey, you know what I'm saying? Naj and I would definitely love, inviting Coach, when the time is right, when the brothers get in. You know what I'm saying? We just one DM away. But I want to ask about, we talked about South Florida, Mr. Abdul Rahim, not Coach Amir, but his older brother, just a lot with the G League, just is he instrumental on a high school level? And if so, how has he affected just basketball, period, in the state of Georgia?
Well, before Coach Amir passed from South Florida, before he passed, I was trying to get him to come to Media Day and actually speak to the kids because he does such a great job. He was a wonderful person. He's instrumental. He always, he was always accessible. Some college coaches aren't accessible, unless you have a player. But
right.
Whether you had a player or not, Coach, Ray Amir, he would always, he always had time for you. He didn't mind talking the game. He didn't mind talking life. He was just a wonderful person. I was glad he was able to take Kennesaw State and do the things he did at Kennesaw State. Coach Petway is taking that over, and he's trying to, maintain that and take it to another level. So I'm glad to see Coach Petway doing that as well with Kennesaw State. We have a good group of college coaches in the metro area. If you really look at the play, between Georgia State, Kennesaw State, those guys, they're doing a good job. Georgia, Stoudemire Tech, those guys in the metro area, they really are doing a good job. And being accessible and getting out, trying to keep Georgia kids in Georgia. That's the thing I like. Just trying to keep kids in state. We lose a lot of talent out of state, but I think Coach May, he was a wonderful person. I'll leave it at that with that.
Absolutely, man. I want this last couple questions for the guys, man. What's the biggest life thing that coaches are constantly stressing to you? You know what I'm saying, that you see help benefit your life right now?
He said, with emotion, take the E out, and then it turns into motion. So, yeah, I feel like that's good.
Yeah, that was probably what I was gonna say too. When he said that, we all thought in our head, you got to put that on a T-shirt or something.
Man, that's smooth, Coach. You came up with that off the top?
Yeah, man. We had a group last year. We were sold. They played. They wore the emotion on the sleeve. You know, and it's kind of hard. But again, well, let me finish. It's kind of hard playing the game if you're always in your emotions. The game, you have to play the game with emotions, right? But you just can't be so emotional. You got to remove yourself. You can't get caught up in the ref. You can't get caught up in, the shot not falling. You in foul trouble. You can't let everything affect you in the game. Again, you can't get too high, too low. So I was like, man, we got to stop being we playing with too much emotion, right? We got to take the E out, fellas, and just get the motion. We just got to get going. But that was last year again, and I told the guys this year, and I don't know if they remember. I said, you know what? It's cool to play with emotions. It's cool to play with emotions. What we can't be now, we can't be emotional. All right, because you need emotions in the game. I want you to, want you to be locked in. I want you to be turned in, hyped up, whatever. But let's not be emotional. When you're emotional, everybody in the stand knows what's going on. You can play with that passion, well, but you can't. We can't pout about a foul we didn't think we got, or or didn't make. Let's play with that fire. So now we're gonna have. And I had to tweet or text the former kids. I was like, hey man, I moved from I'm letting them be emotional this year. They can show emotions, but they can't be emotional. And they kind of laughed. Oh, coach, I was like, man, I'm growing like every year. I ask y'all to grow every year. I'm growing every year. So yeah, they wanted that on the shirt last year, and I think a parent did get a shirt. Take the E out. That was the thing. That was my mantra. Just take the E out, so we can have some motion going forward. And we carried that into that Newton game, and we almost popped them, but it's cool.
Almost got some emotion going for sure. But what's for you, coach? What's a life lesson that you're constantly preaching to them that they haven't quite seen yet? It's still a little more over the hump. You know what I'm saying? Until they understand it. But what's something that you constantly preaching to them that they haven't really digested yet?
Don't have do anything. If you're gonna do anything, do it worth doing. Don't have fast. I've PG version, just don't have butt around. You want to make sure you don't have do anything. If you're gonna do it, just do it to maximum ability. So now that we're in practice, carry out the practice, every rep matters. Don't have but anything. If you're gonna do it right and do it to the best of your ability all the time.
100%. And last thing for me, I'm throwing back to coach, man. What's the debate, man? Are the players they LeBron guys or they MJ guys? Man, who's y'all unanimous vote on the team?
Go ahead, fellas.
Yes, sir. You already know what time it is. Big King James for life.
It's okay, man. They young. It's okay. It's okay.
What about for you, Asa?
LeBron. I say LeBron too.
Why is LeBron y'all go? Let me hear that answer from both of y'all.
I mean, he's the greatest. He's been doing it before I was here, way before I was here. He's still doing it now. He wins. He goes. He does everything. So yeah.
All right, go ahead, Bryson.
I mean, for me, first of all, he's just a great human being. Building schools, doing all that stuff. And I mean, man, 50,000 points. He's top 10 in almost everything. He came in as an 18-year-old, averaging 20. Like, there's no conversation, bro. There's no conversation.
Coach, who your GOAT?
They know who the GOAT is, man. I never argue with kids about it. I troll them a lot and get them going a lot, but it's MJ is the GOAT, man. MJ is my GOAT. Again, if you haven't watched, and it's funny, what I try to tell them is if you haven't watched long enough, so it's hard to argue with somebody who the GOAT is if they haven't watched a Celtics, Lakers series. If they didn't, I'm old enough to have watched Kareem. I miss Wilt and Russell. That's before me, but I came in, mid Kareem, all the way from Dr. J, all the way down, all the way to LeBron. So I've seen more NBA basketball than I have. So LeBron is their GOAT, and I'm okay with LeBron being their GOAT. It's okay, man. It's okay. Everybody has a GOAT. LeBron is their GOAT, and I let them. That's what they want to do. That's fine with me. He is a great human being. LeBron is most definitely a great human being.
Gotcha. My last thing, I'm gonna let you guys go, Big, unless you have anything else, but just goals for 2025. I feel like I know what Coach is gonna be, so we'll end with Coach, but goals for Bryson and Asa, both individually and as a team.
I feel like the ultimate goal is to win the state championship. Personal goals is for me to always get better, keep going, move up the rankings, keep getting college scholarships and just keep going and growing up as a person too.
Yeah, probably for me, same thing as well. Making a deep run in state, winning state championship, getting more offers. Probably I want to reach 1,000 points this year because I think I'd be the only sophomore in school history to have 1,000 points. I love to do that, and I need to shoot a better percentage from the free throw line as well.
Me too. I would like to add the 1,000 point thing too. I think I could do it this year.
Coach?
Of course, coach-wise would be to win the region championship as well as win a state championship. On the personal level from a coach, make sure these guys, when they're done playing high school basketball and playing college basketball, I get invited to their wedding. I want to make an impact where when they're about to get married, they call me, "Hey, coach, I want you to come to the wedding." "Hey, coach, I just had a child." I want to make a lasting impact on their lives, and just when they're out about going through something, they can be like, lean back. What Coach Mo said this, and it will help them navigate through life. It's more than about basketball. I want to teach them life skills through basketball. They might not like me now. They might not like me some days in practice, but then when they get a little older, they'll understand, like, oh, he was really saying, this is what he really meant when he was saying those lessons, when he was being hard on. He prepared me for this. And most definitely we want to beat the school down the street all 3 times we play them.
There it is.
Love to hear it, man. Last thing I promise is for the guys, man. Playing for AOT. You know what I mean? I think they got back on EYBL this year. But just I'm saying, what is it for athletes specifically in Marietta that go straight to AOT? I think you played for John Lucas too, if I'm not mistaken, Bryce. But just about AOT, what's so special about that AAU program?
I feel like they have great development. They'll get you seen, people come and like they won't have no offers, and then by the time the summer ends, they'll be in college somewhere. So I think it's just a great program for that.
Yeah, probably for me, around like the Cobb County, Marietta area, they're the premier AAU team pretty much. With Sharif and all them going through it, Ace going through it, and now with me, ASA, and Chase Lumpkin going through it.
Yeah.
It's a program that's moving up in the ranks, and like you said, they have connections pretty much almost everywhere. So you could come in, no scholarships. Next thing you know, you got 3 or 4 offers by the end of the summer.
I'm saying, fellas, well, I'm definitely looking forward to see y'all, not just against McEachin, but against everybody else. Like I said, I'm coming to the South Side. I'm coming to Santa Cruz, so we're looking forward to seeing y'all there, man. So appreciate y'all coming on.
Sir.
All right, thank you for having us.
Yes, appreciate you, Coach.
No problem. Y'all have a good night, man.
Too. Appreciate y'all, boys.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. Yes, sir. Hey, man, we got you, man. Hey, we grinding, man. Shout out to Coach Wallace. Coach Wallace helped me set that up, man. Great Moultrie, great coach. Wants us to come to Bacon for their media day on Sunday. So
Sunday?
Oh, yeah, Cobb. I know you be busy though, but they extend the invite. So I want to say that. But yeah, man, we got you, man. We still working on Wingfield. We still working on some of them guys, man. But we try to make this a one-stop shop on Thursdays for you, man, where you can come and obviously, see some of the best, in the state, and also highlight underrated people too. Bacon plans to do that. I plan to do that, man, and just make it like I said, man, how we do with football, brother. We try to make it the same thing with basketball. You know what I'm saying? One-stop shop. People come on, feel comfortable, be themselves, man, and give the real.
Well said, brother. You gotta show that one, man.
You got it.
All good. Appreciate you, brother. You know what I mean? I know now he just said everything I could have said, man. So we definitely appreciate you being a loyal supporter, man. Obviously, your loyalty can be bought because you locked in on the Just Citizen News podcast. Tell a friend to tell a friend. So yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
No, we appreciate it, man. It's been a grind to even get a loyal supporter for our hoops. Football has been pretty easy, but hoops it's been a little tough. So we appreciate that support, brother. For real.
100%. All right. I didn't add any like players, highlight players, man. I didn't know how long the interview was gonna run. I know we like to keep the show under 2 hours so we can clip it up a little bit easier, promote the show. So that's what I did. But nonetheless, that's all the topics we have for high school basketball. So we're gonna transition into college. in the college basketball, man. So we're gonna talk about some games, some week 1 games, which is around the corner that you can be sure to look out for. We're gonna give our take. So number 1, Arizona, 13th ranked Arizona Wildcats versus the number 3 Florida Gators, man. I like Florida in this one, man. I think they're gonna be too much for Arizona. You know, I know they got Bryce James. I know they got a top ranked, you know what I'm saying, freshman Koa P coming in big. But I just think Florida's gonna be too much, man. What you think, Nash?
It's interesting to say the least, man. How does Florida kind of replace everybody? They did bring back obviously their front court, which makes them tough. I'm interested to see how good the guard play is going to be. They do have Boogie Fland. I think the game is going to be a little bit more interesting than people think. I think Florida pulls away with it late, but I think that game is going to be a little bit more intriguing than people think, and I really believe they're going to obviously make that game pretty tough. So I got like a double-digit victory, man, but I think they pull away late in that game and obviously beat Arizona, but should be a good one to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Should be a good one. You know what I mean? Good for like the first 3/4 of the game. Then you should see Xavier Lee, should see Boogie Fland, Alex Condon come down. We're supposed to take a big step this upcoming year. A lot of talking him not getting the exact respect he deserves. So that will all be seen, and we will look forward to keep you updated as November rolls around. But the next game that we'll be talking about is Villanova versus 8th ranked BYU. Again, gotta go BYU here, man. I know BYU just got beat, you know what I mean, a preseason game or exhibition game, but you know what I mean, this BYU team is loaded, you know what I mean. And even outside of the Bryson, man, they got a lot of guys who can go. But so what's your thoughts on this one too, Nash?
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to say the least. Remember, they got that prize freshman that was supposed to go to, I think it was UNC or Kentucky, at Caden Lewis. We got a chance to see him a couple times in person, Bacon. How good would that Villanova team be? Tyler Perkins will be another one to watch out for, obviously, in that matchup. But like you said, man, I think when you look at BYU, they have a great overall team. Like the star is going to obviously be DeBonsta, and obviously he's already, preseason freshman or preseason All-American, coming into the season. Still a lot of unknowns, though. Like, how good would he really be? We don't know yet. I think it will be elite, but this team overall around him is really good, which is going to make that team special because he's the star, but then you got the complementary pieces, which is why it was a great choice to go there. Remember, this is a team that made the tournament last year. Obviously, college basketball, there's a lot of upheaval and people changing teams and stuff like that, but I think that's going to be an intriguing one to say the least.
100%. Yeah, I agree. Caden Lewis is nice. I'm not sure why he decommitted from Kentucky. But obviously they got some brewing at Villanova in the transfer. Or not transfer, but recommit. Texas versus Duke. Texas versus Duke. Not too well versed on Texas, but you just got to give the nod to Duke. You know what I mean? Probably win in comfortable fashion, but I'll do more research on what Texas has going on. But Twins. You know what I mean? Isaiah Evans. The list goes on. This team, I feel like this team's gonna get it done, bro. But
yeah, they should. To say the least, a really good game. A resume building win for either team. For Texas, for sure. Duke's the number 6 ranked team. We know about Duke. We know about the pieces they got. Replacing Malawatch, replacing Conconupal. We know about Cameron Boozer, who just went off for 33 points. Obviously, in their exhibition game, he looks really good. What role was it? Evans half? He was just, I think, as a top shooting guard, according to one of these Instagram accounts as well. So yeah, when it comes to Texas, how do you replace Trey Johnson? Right, Trey Johnson was a phenomenal player for you last year. How are you going to replace him this year, and who's going to be some guys that's going to obviously step up for you, in his absence? Right, it's hard to replace a star player like that, and it's definitely very tough. And remember, they lost their coach. Right, no more. I think it's Ron Holland. I think it was. They have a whole new coach at the helm now, and Sean Miller. And we know what Sean Miller did, obviously, with Arizona back in the day. So new era, obviously, Bacon. So that'll be very intriguing to say the least. And they did just pick up a big win against SMU in their scrimmage. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how good they're going to be. They got some pieces, obviously. They recruit very well, but definitely a good way to start the season, to say the least.
100%. Definitely I know they're looking for a step up from Kendall Weaver this year. That's what we see depicted here next to number 21. So, like I said, we'll see. But we'll keep it moving. We'll keep it moving into matchup. I know everybody's Kind of waiting to see, man. Not, you know what I'm saying? Hubert Davis on the hot seat this year. Got a good squad, right? You know what I mean? Versus Kansas, who I feel like is still underranked. I'm gonna take Kansas. I'm gonna take Kansas this one, number one player or number two player, whatever you want to say. Darren Peterson, Cole Rosario, who we'll talk about a little later. You know what I mean? International big. I just think they're gonna be a little more well put together right now than Caleb Wilson. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah Dennis and Coach Davis. What you think, Nash?
Yeah, that's a great matchup, man. Two really good teams. You get to see Darren Peterson for the first time. How for real will he be? Can Kansas be a better basketball team than they were last year? Struggled a lot, and expected to have a better year. Obviously, Big 12 is always an interesting conference to say the least. But this would be a great quality win for the ACC. I'm not gonna lie to you. Beating a really good team from the Big 12. How elite will Caleb Wilson be in year one? Like you said, Hubert Davis was on that hot seat, so they're gonna have to make some noise and not just make the tournament, but make a little deep run. So it'd be a good inside track to see if their guard plays better, for one, and to see if they can shoot the basketball at a higher level as well. They struggled with that last season. So they also got a kid, Flory Badunga, I think, for Kansas. Everybody has been raving about at the big spot. So he'll be one to watch in the front court for them. Do they have an answer for that for the Tar Heels this year? Very interesting game, to say the least.
100%. Great analysis, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. So next one, Arkansas versus Mississippi. No, I'm sorry, Michigan State. You know what I'm saying? Coach Izzo and the guys. This is always an interesting one. You know what I mean? Coach Izzo is always gonna have his guys prepared. You know what I mean? I like Coach Cal, man. I like the guys, man. You know what I mean? So this was tough. But I think I'm gonna go Arkansas, man. You know what I'm saying? I gotta ride with a winner. Gotta ride with Coach Cal.
Yeah, Coach Cal did a good job. He brought some pieces back. Yes, he lost Boogie, but he brought back obviously Carter Knox, you're seeing here, which should really help his team. Did a good job in the portal as well, bringing some guys in. So year two, I mean, nobody thought Arkansas was going to be that good last year, and look what Coach Calipari did. So give him his credit. Got into the tournament, and obviously a team that's been at a high level. The name to watch for Michigan State is going to be Cohen Carr. In a recent exhibition game against Bowling Green, he dropped 17 points, 5 boards, and 4 assists. So he's going to be one to watch. And obviously Jackson Kohler is going to be another one to watch for them moving forward. He had a double-double in that scrimmage against Bowling Green, 15 points and 10 boards. So interesting matchup. I probably would give the edge to Arkansas for now, but don't be surprised if Michigan makes that a game.
100%. I like Caleb Glenn too. Like Caleb Glenn out of from you know what I'm saying, from Michigan State, transfer from he's from Louisville, but transfer out of the American Conference. But I agree with you, but I think we got to roll with the Razorback here till proven otherwise. But we'll never underestimate Coach Izzo, man. His coaching philosophy, one of the best coaches in college basketball who, you know what I'm saying, made headlines. But I think for good reasons. We'll get into that later on in the show, so stay tuned. But the next game is going to be Oklahoma versus the number 21 ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs. I'm gonna go with the Zags here. You know what I mean? Just for obviously not continuity purposes, but just having probably more talent. I think Oklahoma's they have some talent, right? You know what I mean? A team that's on the rise. You know what I'm saying? They're a team as an ebb and flow team. They have a good guard here and there, but they never can stay consistent. Hopefully, moving in the SEC, they will continue to recruit better, because you got to be able to recruit at a certain level, or just do what Coach Mark Pope did last year, bring in transfer guys. You know what I'm saying? And entice other recruits to stay. But I think for that reason, I'm going to go with the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see Oklahoma this year, see what they're able to do. They brought in Darion Reed, remember, from Alabama. So he's over there now. So what role will he play this year for them? SEC is obviously tough for basketball. We've seen 14 teams make it last year. Will they have enough depth? I think is the biggest question for Oklahoma this year, right? Or will they be very top-heavy? For the Zags, you got some pieces, obviously returning back Allie Turner, Zariah Akuzo, who's from St. Mary's. They both were named all WCC, preseason All-American team or preseason list, I should say. So it'd be interesting to see, man. Zags, they've always been a good regular season team. I think that's one of the teams you want to see just win a tournament, and get a deep run. But they got some good pieces on there, man. And obviously this will be a great, like I said, resume to find a win early on in the season, and a great way to challenge themselves.
100%. And Alabama versus St. John. This is another big time matchup. You know, the LeBaron Fire the Pictor who went for 40. Went for 40 the other night. St. John's, Ian Jackson. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go St. John's here. I'm gonna go St. John's. I just, you know what I mean? I watched Alabama play their exhibition outside of LeBaron Fire line. You know, got Aiden Sherrill too, but they didn't seem in rhythm. You know, coach was pulling them in and out. It just never seemed to get steady. And for that reason, I'm gonna roll with Coach Pitino and the guys in New York.
I'm gonna disagree. I'm going with Roll Tide. I'm going with Alabama, man. I think they got the pieces this year. I know they lost a couple pieces in the portal, but with Fallon obviously getting him to come back another year, you look at the front court play this year, which should be even better. I think that helps them out a lot. Last year, man, I ain't gonna say they got punked, but you know, some of the games like Auburn struggling, obviously against Janai Broome. I feel like that position is gonna be a lot better for them this year. And obviously they always have great guard play. You know about some of the pieces they had, Young Blood, and obviously, you know, some of their guard play. But I feel like they're gonna be a team. They're gonna be good. I think I get a slight edge to Bama.
All right. So that'll conclude the games, ladies and gentlemen. Man, y'all, we'll update these games when November rolls around, starting on the 3rd. But those are our picks to click. You know what I mean? So if you're sports betting, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You can follow the guys, man. Now, if you get a little nugget, you know what I mean? We don't need no proceed. We'll just ask that you just voice your, you know what I'm saying, your appreciation in the comments. But let's talk about London Johnson. London Johnson, we all know very well from Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Went to not Marietta, but Norcross High School, I believe, won a state championship, and decided to go the route of going to the NBA, going to be a G League, has now decided to commit to Louisville Cardinals at the age of 2021. I'm extending for you, Naj, to give your first thoughts, man. Just what was your thoughts when you saw this headline?
Yeah, I know we're gonna get into obviously bigger news on this topic and what Coach Izzo had to say. I just think you don't have any guardrails, respectfully. Now I know to a degree, I see the point of okay, well, G League, you barely making $40,000 a year compared to college. You can get NIL, you can make hundreds of thousands a year. So I get that component of it, but at the same time, bro, it's already difficult for kids, right? Think about it. High school kids ain't getting recruited at the same level that they do. So to me, it kind of stains the game a little bit. No disrespect to London. You know, obviously took the route that he took, but if you can't make it in the G League or obviously that route to get to the league, I don't think it's really fair that you play some professional ball than being able to go there. Now, I know the amateurism and obviously the pro thing is kind of like skewed a little bit and blurred, but I think at the same time, there needs to be something where, hey, you got to do either or, right? And college is to a point, it's allowing you to do that. You don't have to go G League a night, right? You don't have to go to pro level basketball just yet. You can stay in college 4 to 5 years and develop and make good money. I think there needs to be something. Okay, once you go that pro route, whether that's G League over, like that's it. You know what I'm saying? You can't come back. You know what I'm saying? Now I know sometimes they'll get guys that play professionally as well from Germany or whatever, and then they'll come and try to make the jump to college. So that's what I said. There needs to be something, some kind of safeguard or rail on that. Because I think in one token, you can't say, oh, well, these guys can't do that playing G League and then come into the college. But then you allow overseas players to do it. There needs to be some kind of safeguard rail on that, in my humble opinion. But I get it. I mean, it's a whatchamacallit in the rule. You can go to Louisville, play for obviously, you know, a great head coach there and develop your game. I mean, why not when you have that golden opportunity and, you know, scan out the scouts and work on your game and then eventually go to the next level? It makes sense. But I think there needs to be something to, you know, said about it or to help out the kids, because at this point, like they're going to just go, if they can do that, college coach going to go G League all day. You know what I'm saying? Compared to developing a kid, and I don't think that's fair.
I agree, brother. I want to know how Coach Kelsey was able to pull this off. Were they talking to each other? Like, because I said, like, you know what I'm saying, he's already made his move, like you said, to go play professionally.
Yeah.
You brought up the young man from Kansas, the international bigger you talked about. You know what I'm saying? They're constantly pulling in. The Euro guys are doing the same thing. So we'll get ready to play what Coach Izzo said, or what he had to say about, you know what I mean, just blurring the line of amateurism, really blaming it on the Dutch. You can't blame anybody coming from overseas or blaming London from, you know what I'm saying, making the best move for him, right? You know what I'm saying? But tired of making 40K, man. It's a long road playing in the G League from time to time. Like we just now seeing Jordan Davidson, you know what I'm saying, get a role at playing with the Celtics. Let me find it. 1 second, y'all. My bad. Share screen. All right. Hold on. My bad, y'all. 1 second. All right, bet. The infamous ad. So we'll give some little dialogue before it comes out. He pretty much just didn't no free promo on the site, man. Now that the dollars, but yeah, just you know what I mean, gave his opinion on it. Really blamed the people who are making the decisions. You know what I mean? That's not blaming the kid for upgrading his life. Like he's finna come in, possibly touch, maybe north of 500K. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? But you know what I mean? Like I said, you get tired of the grind constantly. I cover the G League, so I get to hear these guys, you know what I'm saying, their sentiments about it. Like oftentimes, like nobody really wants to play in the G League. We're all trying to get to the NBA, you know what I mean, just a better lifestyle. Oftentimes living in these, you know what I'm saying, decent apartments, you know what I mean? But it's just the monotonous, like they practice hard every day, and the NBA they're not practicing as hard. Here we go.
I listen to people talk about how kids changed. Kids aren't the problem. We're the problem. This was sprung on us again yesterday, where a guy can be in the G League for 2 or 3 years, and then all of a sudden he's eligible. Most of my people knew nothing about it. I don't think our commissioner. I am not real excited about the NCAA or whoever's making these decisions without talking to us, just letting it go because they're afraid they're going to get sued. The NCAA's got to regroup. They got to regroup. That's my opinion. Only my opinion. So don't be mad at anybody else. Be mad at us. But I'm not going to be mad at the players. I'm going to be mad at the adults in the room. And so don't blame the players anymore. Blame the adults that make the decisions that allow some of these ridiculous things to happen.
So there you have it. That's the sentiment from Coach Izzo, man. It all ultimately, to me, it all comes down to money. It comes down to our bringing in London Johnson, a program like Louisville that's on the rise, pairing them with Michael Brown. That's box office. People want to see that, and it adds to the Louisville-Kentucky rivalry, which again leads to ad dollars, leads to more eyeballs on the game of basketball, college basketball, which oftentimes we talk about how basketball, the viewership is going down, college basketball, not what it once was. So I think it comes down to that. But again, you can't blur the lines and just spring things on teams just weeks away from the season starting.
I don't think he's even playing this year. I think he has to sit out a year.
True that. Okay, he's not playing this year, but still, you know what I mean. There could have been other. I mean, it's one more G League player from the Rochester, New York Knicks that's playing as well. Mm-hmm. But you know what I mean. There could have been other coaches that could have gotten that same pool. Just it felt like an unfair advantage. I'm assuming that's where Coach Izzo is coming from. So, but nonetheless, it'll be exciting to see London Johnson compete. And what's your expectations for London? Like you'll see him playing up against grown men in the G, coming into playing guys who aren't as polished. You know what I mean? I think he probably should average 15 points.
Should dominate.
Yeah, 20 realistically.
Yeah, bro, you should dominate to me. I mean, if you're going really to a lower level, if we're being honest. You should be able to dominate.
100%. That's a good point, man. And not taking anything away from London. I don't think necessarily he's shying away from playing competition in the G. I just think I really think it's a financial move, honestly. Like I just alluded to, man. 40, 50K. It's not a glamorous lifestyle in the G League. So to what to what Coach Moultrie said, man. Money talks, walks on the tightrope. You know, and you know what I'm trying to say there. But we'll continue to move on. Red shirt sophomore Marco Jackson has high praise for freshman guard Cole Rosario. He called him Captain America. Said he's the guy that runs around and has a lot of energy on his team, which is, again, I've talked about on the show before. I think he'll be a big reason why Kansas is effective. He said that dude never gets tired. We call him Steve Rogers. He's Captain America. The Jayhawks got their guy, Cole Rosario. Here's some practice footage via KU Hoops. You know what I mean? This guy, I like the stats Cole's putting on, but you know what I'm saying? This guy who's gonna go not recklessly, but go athletically to the gym, knock down the jump shots. Very simple game. You know what I'm saying? Gonna give you energy on defense. A guy that came into OTE, this Bryson Tiller in the clip as well. A guy who came into OTE with not a lot of offers. Did his thing playing with not RWE. Did his thing playing with the YNG Dreamers along Eli Ellis and his brother. And took that motion and went to Team CP3 and was dominating. Was dominating playing for Team CP3 on the EYBL circuit and committed to Kansas. So, brother, just what's your thoughts on Cole Rosario and that comment from his teammate?
Yeah, he'll be interesting to watch this year. It'd be interesting if he starts alongside Darren Peterson. Obviously, talked about Bryson Tiller as well being a big for them. But yeah, he's gonna give them energy, I think, and be a guy kind of that scrappy guy that gets to loose balls, plays defense at a high level, and like you said, being able to stretch the defense as well. So I'm excited to see what he does. A great story, as you mentioned. Even in OTE, he felt underrated, and overlooked a lot of times, man. But finally was able to get some buzz during that summer, took advantage, man, and now has everything out in front of him. So he'll definitely be a good player. Bill Self is really good at development. So I think he got a growing opportunity ahead of him.
Yes, sir. We're gonna talk another big upset in college basketball, the exhibition games, right? We're gonna talk about Ole Miss upsetting Houston 70-58 at a private scrimmage. You know what I mean? So we don't know the context and to everybody play or whatever the case may be, but nonetheless, I think Ole Miss deserves a lot more respect than what they're getting. Had a decent year last year. So nice. What do you think about this lopsided affair, even though it was a private exhibition?
Yeah, I think it just says more eyes on Ole Miss, man. Don't sleep on them this year in the SEC. Not saying they're going to win the conference, but don't be surprised if they're a tournament team again. If they can go against the number 2, what ranked team this is in the AP poll, or number 3, they're definitely top 5. I can say that. Don't sleep on them this year because Houston brings back a lot of veteran talent to their team. So if they can go and do this, and even if it's an exhibition, I get it, but at the same time, that's important. If they can go and do that, I think that says a lot.
100%, man. Malik D will be a name to watch. Sorry, senior forward. Like I just alluded to, they're returning a lot of guys who had a lot of who got a lot of experience last year, and won a lot of games for lack of a better word. So I think Ole Miss will be a team to keep an eye on this season in the SEC. All right, we'll transition into women's basketball. We're going to tap into the top 25 preseason poll. This is ESPN. Not sure if anything has touched the AP poll, but we're going to talk and react to it. So, Naj, I'm going to open it up. And listen, I'm going to let you start the segment. How did you feel about this list when you saw it?
Yeah, I think UConn being the top team makes a lot of sense. Not too surprising what they bring back. I'm interested to see how South Carolina looks. Chloe Kitts tore her ACL, so she's out for the year. So I thought that was very intriguing as well. Just the depth, because remember they had an injury last year. I think it was Ashlyn Watkins. She got hurt, Bacon. So her going down. We've seen it later on in the season when they struggled. So what kind of depth do they have at that position? I think they brought back what's her name? I think she's back for one more season. What's her name? Johnson. I can't think of her name. Raven Johnson, I think is her name.
Johnson.
Yeah, I think they got her back for one more year, so that should help. But be interesting to see. Did a really good job recruiting. Tennessee's a team I'm excited to watch this year.
Mm-hmm.
And how they build. Janiyah Barker's going to be the one to kind of watch out for there. So she's back in the SEC. So I'm interested how she's going to play this upcoming season. So that's one that's caught my eye. Maryland, you lost one of your top assistant coaches in Coach Karen Blair. How does your team look? Always a top team, obviously in the Big Ten. Garzone is going to be one to watch for them, and also Kayleen Smickle. She's really good as well, so she's one I definitely have my eye on. Obviously to watch this upcoming season. Olivia Miles and Kate Koval for Notre Dame is going to be players to watch out for them moving forward. So I'm curious to see that. And then USC, it's underrated, but they got one of the better players in the ACC last season, Kara Dunn. Remember, and then Juju Watkins is out for the year. She's already came out in her post and said that. So with Kara Dunn kind of coming over and being in transition for them, how good would USC be without obviously, their star player? And will we see her come back, next year in Juju Watkins? So they can also call my eye. And then also last but not least, LSU at number 5. Malaysia Fuwali, remember she was at South Carolina. So she came over, obviously, in the portal to LSU. And, obviously she's a great player. She struggled with some consistency stuff, but how good of a player will she be, obviously, for LSU this upcoming year? And Coach Kim Mulkey, can she get the most out of her this year, kind of to see? And then last year for, obviously, Flaw J. Johnson and, obviously, Michaela Williams. So LSU will be a team to watch for as well.
I agree, brother. I was always excited to see the Gamecocks, how they will look. They got Tanaya Laston reuniting with, like you said, Raven Johnson. That's gonna be electric to see. Ashlyn Watkins, as you mentioned before, Joyce Edwards, should step into a bigger role. 5-star freshman coming in last year. So I'm always gonna hope that the Gamecocks, win it all. Win it all at the end of the year for the storyline. Don Staley, level she's doing up there in Columbia. Talking about the Huskies, Sarah Strong, power big time freshman last year. They got another freshman coming in, as well as Sierra Williams. So this team, it's gonna be we're good to see those storylines, ultimately come back in college basketball, women's college basketball, which we missed last year. Unfortunately, Juju Watkins won't be present, but you do have who may be one of the best freshmen this year in Aaliyah Chavez from Texas. Who's being calm to Caitlin Clark, one of the best, should be one of the best shooters this year. We'll see if she lives up to the hype being a freshman. But during her time in high school, she lit it up. Tennessee, to your point, I just like what the head coach has going on up there. The philosophy they push, playing fast on both sides of the court. She sells out for threes, which people be like, let's worth the layup, it's worth the mid-range game. But obviously came in last year. The Lady Vols were unranked, slowly worked their way into the top 25, and now you see them ranked top 7 in the country. That's credit to her belief in her philosophy, obviously coming from Marshall, coming from West Virginia. So that's big. Duke, Riley Nelson, should be a big year for them. And North Carolina, man, I like what they have going on as well. They got another freshman. What's her name? Let me pull up the roster real quick. I gotta get her name. Nyla Brooks. Nyla Brooks is gonna be major this year. I'm not sure if she's gonna get any starting minutes. I will give them to her. She's electric. Hesitation pull up. She's got a very well polished game. So if you don't know much about women's college basketball, that's the name you want to keep tabs on, and definitely turn the TV on when you see the Tar Heels. Coming on the big screen. Interested to see what Notre Dame's going to do this year. Missing obviously not having Miss Miles this year. Olivia Miles, but they still do have the lead guard. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pan out this year. You already talked about USC. Iowa should be solid. Let's see what else we got. I think Washington is going to be good too. But Olivia Miles at TCU. So it's going to be. I feel like we're going to see the luster come back to women's college basketball this year. For whatever reason, it dropped off of ratings last year. I think it was because of injuries. But I'm excited to see where women's basketball, college basketball goes this year. So stay tuned to that. Stay tuned for that. We'll provide updates for games moving forward as the season progresses. All right. We're going to tap into NBA, man. We're going to recap some of the games last night. we're going to start with the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Golden State Warriors, brother. Obviously, the Warriors came in looking like a well-oiled machine. I think they're going to be a top team in the West this year. Top 5, you know what I'm saying? It'd be nice, but I'm really thinking top 3. You know what I mean? I think they're going to be special. Lakers didn't look good outside of, you know what I'm saying, Luka. But, brother, what was your analysis of the game?
Yeah, still remains to be seen. I think, obviously it looked like Steph has a lot of help, which is good. If Kuminga can play like that, and he ain't got to average 25, 30 points, but if he can do what he did and average 15, I'm saying maybe 20, he's playing that level, and to that degree, they're going to be potent. The key factor for them, though, nobody's talking about is Will Richard. He came in. I was talking about the clip, obviously, with the fellas earlier. I don't know if you heard that, Bacon, but with just how impressed Jimmy Butler and obviously Coach Kerr was with him in the clip I saw, which is his cutting ability, and they think he's going to be good. He could be a missing piece for them. A lot of stuff's going to still get a lot of attention, but then you got obviously Jimmy Butler. Obviously Draymond could be that point forward for you. But the key question for them is going to be their size. How will their size continue to translate? They always done small ball. We've seen kind of the emergence now of the big man. Obviously in basketball, it's always been there, obviously, but like just more big centers, more big lineups. When really. Golden State revolutionized the sport in terms of playing small ball, if you think about it. So that's going to be interesting, that dynamic. Good win, but, they weren't fully healthy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm putting the brakes on top 3, top 5. Remains to be seen. But they did look good against the Lakers, but no LeBron. Still some things they got to figure out as well for the Lakers to play better. But for Golden State, good way to open the season, but I'm going to remain, in the middle, neutral.
100%. I'm bullish because of the shooting. I think that they're very deep at shooting. You look at, we talked about Jim, you talked about Kuminga. Seth Curry is supposed to be on the team this year, Stats brother. You got Buddy Hield coming off the bench. You got Post who can shoot the ball. You know what I mean? You got Al Horford. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I think between those two, that's gonna sure up your size, along with Draymond being the man coming with his lunch pail, you know what I'm saying, his hard hat to game day every night. So I think between the shooting and just enough size for the Warriors, I think they're going to be very special this year in the West. But next game, Houston versus Oklahoma City. I know everybody's on Kevin Durant's head top 4. Almost costing them the game with the Chris Webber, you know what I mean, phantom timeout call and missing the free throws down the stretch. Shea still looks in midseason form, though he missed some free throws. Rockets facing foul trouble, you know what I'm saying, early and late. But just what was your analysis of the game, brother?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good game between two good teams. Credit OKC. No Jalen Williams found a way, just kept fighting. Lou Dortz came up big. Case and Wallace was hitting down big time shots for them. That obviously made a difference, and they were rebounding basketball at a high level. I thought that was a difference for them. KD looked good. Obviously did his thing. I think he needs to touch the ball more in the clutch, but he got a lot of help. He ain't got to be the main guy no more. That's the cool part. I think with Houston, even without Fred VanVleet and him getting injured, you got Segun, who had 39 points. So that feels good. Amen Thompson has to be more consistent moving forward, I think. Had his up and downs in that game. But KD has a lot of help there. So I think there'll be a team to continue to watch for Houston, but just couldn't quite make the plays down the stretch, and Shea kept getting to the free throw line in his spots that kind of kept them in the game.
100%. Well said, brother. Well said. Game that could have went either way. I think it's just we'll see. It is just early signs, but you know what I'm saying? It's just good to have basketball back. Next game is Atlanta versus Toronto. Obviously the Hawks, they got the doors blown off last night, man. We're still trying to figure it out for Atlanta. That hurt my heart. I thought we was gonna come into the season with some fireworks. But credit to Scotty Barnes, credit to Brandon Ingram, you know what I mean? Everybody, RJ Barrett and the crew. But did you tap into this game? I know you're not the biggest Atlanta fan.
Yeah, I don't understand it. If you're the Hawks, man, you let Barrett go off for 25 and 8, bro. Like what's going on? The good thing though is that you got multiple scores. So, like, Atlanta got to figure it out. They had 1, 2, 3, 4. They had 6 people in double figures. So the good thing is Trey ain't gonna have to do all that scoring, all the time, right? Kristaps Porzingis dropped 20, Shea dropped 16, Jalen Johnson dropped 22, Okongwu dropped 18. Like, you got the pieces. It's just defensively, you gave up 140 points basically. How do you perform better there? They shot 57% from the field. That's not getting it done. You know what I'm saying? So you got to find a better way to protect the paint. They did good defending the 3-point line. They only shot 24%, but you got killed on the boards, making 54-34 advantage. That ain't gonna cut it, bro. That ain't gonna cut it. So with the pieces in there, you got Chris Stapps, you got Okongwu, you should be able to rebound the basketball. That hurt them in this game. So remains to be seen for Atlanta. They got the pieces, obviously, but just got to defend better. Grady Dick even went off, formerly of Kansas. He went off for 25 plus. So just got to be able to defend the basketball better, in my opinion.
So I like a lot of the defensive. The reason why they went off is we saw Dyson Daniels. He was in foul trouble real early. You know what I mean? Wasn't able to. You know what I mean? When we got Dyson on the floor, that's going to make it harder for teams to score. I don't care what you say. And Chris Porzingis. I'm not going to put too much on him because I know, you know what I'm saying, we're only expecting 40 games out of him, but didn't look as physical, rebounding basketball, which I expected. I'm not going to lie to you. Being brittle. I just hope he makes it. But nonetheless, the Hawks didn't see favorite swinging the way. But I mean, I'm gonna give him a pass. You know what I mean? Anytime Dyson's off the floor early, it's gonna be a tough game. But everybody else got to step up your defensive prowess. That's bad. So third game, San Antonio versus Dallas, big primetime game. You know what I mean? I heard Cooper Flag lost a lot of folks some money last night, only 1 assist. But he's a rookie, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot. That's a lot on the young man playing point guard.
Takes time, bro. Drop the double, man. It takes time. Everybody, oh, he's 4 for 13. It's his first game, bro. Relax, man. You're gonna be all right, man. You're gonna be all right. Yeah, man. I mean, Wemby's just a monster, bro. I don't know what the hell people gonna do, man. My new nickname for him, I be telling people in the group chat, I call him Shaolin. If you know, you know. Shaolin's my new name for him. Shaolin went off. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what team's gonna do to stop him. But 40 and 15, and like I said, he was getting to the mid range. I mean, he's just so long enough. Like he cooked AD. Like AD looked slow. AD looked like he done lost a step or two. It's one game, so you don't want to take it out of context, but Spurs might be a problem. Like, say what you want. I got them making the playoffs this season. I told you that. He was like, nah, I don't know just yet. But with Wemby looking like that, and Stephon Castle dropped 22 and 7, and they didn't even have De'Aaron Fox in the game, right? And you got a little bit with Dylan Harper too. Like, Spurs gonna be a problem, bro. And even if people sell out, they got the shooters, they got the pieces in order to make you pay. I think they just showed everybody that the Spurs is coming this year.
Facts. It looks like Wemby's locked in for that MVP for sure. But last game, it ended up being fitting. You know what I mean? With the scandal that happened today, but Minnesota, the Timberwolves versus the Portland Trailblazers, brother. You know what I mean? Ant came in and did his thing. You know what I mean? Portland, it just got a sour taste in my mouth right now for the scandal that happened today. But nonetheless, you know what I mean? They played decent. They played decent. Only lost by 4. You know what I mean? Only lost by 4 to the Timberwolves. You know what I mean? Hassan Yang got dunked on, but I think that's something you just sweep under the rug. You know what I mean? Slow-footed. But what was your thoughts on the game, brother?
Yeah, man. Shout out to Ant, man. Big game for them. Obviously, hitting the step back 3, just showing he's not here to play. Obviously seen some growth. Obviously in that game for some of the Timberwolves, younger guys. So you'll take that, or not Timberwolves. I'm sorry, the Trailblazers, young guys. So you'll take that, but I think they're gonna be in shambles for a little bit, man. I mean, this is a team that's rebuilding, and then you just lost your head coach. Thiago Spiller is going to obviously be the guy moving forward for you. Obviously, Billups is pretty much all but done in his head coach journey, to say the least. But they had no answer for Anthony Edwards, 41 points. Like I said, if he's doing that, he's a problem. But the key is just getting that help consistently. Can Randall be consistent enough, down the stretch in playoffs? Same with obviously McDaniels as well. But it's gonna obviously run through Ant. But just can he get enough other pieces? But I thought good games from Denny Avdiva. Obviously, he played well, and Jeremy Grant continued to play at a higher level. And then Shannon Sharp's taking that next step in this game, 15 and 4 in that game. So he's going to be one to watch moving forward as well.
Nah, facts. I agree with you, brother. I'm still gonna hold steady. Because I reached to put my neck out on the limb for the guys, man. I still believe in the guys, even though they lost Chauncey Billups. Thiago Splitter, we'll see what you got, man. You know what I mean? Everybody remembers Thiago for getting dunked on by LeBron. Oh, not getting dunked on, but getting blocked by LeBron James. But I'm gonna stick with the guys, man. I still like them. I still like Scoot Henderson. Still got Drew Holiday. You know what I'm saying? One of the best defensive guards in the league. Jeremy Grant, Hassan Yang only played 5 minutes last night, but I think, you know what I'm saying, when we look at this team around All-Star break and a little bit after, we'll kind of see them come to fruition. You know what I mean? Only lost by 2 to one of the best teams in the West, Anthony Edwards. It took a 40-point effort from Anthony Edwards to, you know what I'm saying, or 33-point effort, you know what I'm saying, for them to get clipped. So I'm gonna rock with the guys, man, for sure. 100%. But before we get out of here, man, I just want to get your. I mean, we've already touched on it. Teddy Rosario, if I'm not mistaken, from a point guard.
Rozier.
Teddy Rozier.
Damon Jones.
Say it again.
Damon Jones
and Coach Billups all getting, you know what I mean, for sports betting. You know, well, not sports betting. Well, Chauncey got clipped for playing poker with the mob, but
being the face basically.
Yeah, being the face. So I mean, what's your thoughts on?
It's a stain on the league, brother. It's a stain on the league. It's not a good look. You got an acting player and an acting coach that's involved in this, and Rozier's already been linked to stuff like this, but obviously got cleared. They had Jonte Porter a few years ago. Not good for the league, man. And that's why I think we had a discussion a few weeks ago, Bacon, just in terms of allowing kids to even sports bet for NCAA allowing that. I just think players, if you active in the league, you shouldn't be able to do it, respectfully. You know what I'm saying? It's not something you should be able to do. And obviously check out, they said Gilbert snitched on them. Interesting. I had to look into that. But obviously interesting comment by UI American. Obviously always appreciate your support. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. But I would just say, like, from that, it's just a stain on the league. Like, you can't have that. NBA is already kind of, I won't say iffy, but like the viewership, it's been cool. But it's already a game it's global to a degree, but it's just you're how people feel about it and watching it, it's not the same, right? And then you get something like this, not a good look. And then I think it takes away from the excitement that opening night was. I mean, it's exciting. Like, you see what Warriors did. You've seen, the earlier game, Cooper Flag and Wemby established himself as MVP, and then now you have this. So it's like it almost takes away from the lore of really that next generation, that next era of the NBA, if you think about it. Like, LeBron's kind of on his way out. KD with a new team in Houston. Can the Warriors make another run? Like, it's a lot of excitement around the NBA, despite all the injuries in the East. Tatum with the torn Achilles, Damian Lillard with the torn Achilles, but it's a good amount of excitement. I think that takes away, and I think it puts a stain on the NBA with this happening and players betting, and it's just like, it's not a good look.
Absolutely. I don't want. How do you think this reflects David Stern? Not David Stern, but Adam Silver. Because you really can't control players betting, but it's like at some point
you can't. And I mean, he's been a player-focused commissioner, which you credit him on. Obviously, helping them a lot with the contracts and helping them a lot with, I say contracts in terms of like better deals, helping the salary cap go up, which helps the players. I think he's done everything in his power in terms of help the players as much as possible. I think sometimes the players have taken advantage of that. And I think that's what you're kind of seeing a little bit, taking advantage of it. And I think David Stern was more stern. And there was some certain stuff you could and couldn't do. And some would say he was too uptight. But now we see Elijah over here and see what's kind of going on with the league a little bit. So I think he just has to drop the hammer. We're seeing way more issues. We didn't see before players getting arrested for betting. We didn't see before owners like a Steve Ballmer going and trying to pay his players underneath the rug. We weren't seeing stuff like that, right? So always trying to find a way to manipulate or take advantage of. We're seeing that way more often now, and I think has to be a stop to it. And definitely he's going to have to put the hammer down now. Can't be a nice guy no more. I think he's tried his best, but with some of the stuff that's going on, like, hey, you're doing that, you're doing legal sports betting, hey, you're kicked out of the league. You got to send a message, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's kicked out of the last 2 offenders, kicked him out of the league, right? So
I think so. Yeah, you got to keep that same energy.
Yeah,
this is not what our league stands for, and they need to issue a statement pretty quickly.
And they need to. Nothing else has been putting out for the Clippers, situation, and that's something like, okay, well, it's kind of taking a little long, a little while. I thought something would have came out that they would. Maybe postseason, but I'm not sure. I just know what David Stern would do. Like you said, he would probably, we gotta, until further notice, we're gonna do this until proven innocent, right? But it's gonna be interesting to see how all this plays out. I agree with you. It's definitely tainted the NBA's brand, and they got to clean this up, or it's gonna reflect and look like how the NBA was with before David Stern became the commissioner, when they were cleaning up the drug problem and things like that. We're entering into an era where sports gambling is corrupting the league. Hopefully people aren't mass point shaving, man. But that is the show. That is the latest, man. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Do you have any last remarks now before we send the people home or on the way?
Nope. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate the support, man. We're gonna keep trying to get you guys big time guests on the show. Appreciate iAmerican for being our most loyal supporter, especially for our Hoops podcast. So thanks a lot for that, man. Anything else you want to see, let us know in the comments. Shout out to Brendan M. He was on your YouTube, Bacon. He said, let's go Hawks. So shout out to him for tuning in as well. And like I said, special thanks to Coach Moultrie, ASA Montgomery, and Bryson Jatta for joining the show. I appreciate Coach Wallace for putting that together for us. We thoroughly appreciate it. And like I said, it's just helping us grow the platform, man. So we appreciate it. Like I said, Hoops has been a little bit harder, but we like the way that it's going and trending in the right way. Just got to obviously stay on it, man, and keep working, keep grinding.
They have it, folks, man. That's it, and that's all. And as always, it's just as the news, and we will see y'all Monday or see y'all Saturday for the college football post game show. Peace and love.